This is the 2023 Go Red for Women Be the Beat event from the American Heart Association. And now your host, KTAB anchor, Joni McKinnon.
Good evening and welcome to our broadcast, the American Heart Association's 2023 Go Red for Women campaign. I'm Joni McKinnon. During the next half hour, we'll hear from an inspiring survivor. Our sponsor, Hendrick Health. They'll talk about some ways that you can improve and maintain your cardiovascular health, and we'll all gain awareness about our #1 health threat: heart disease. For nearly 20 years, the Go Red for Women movement has been working tirelessly to ensure all women are aware that cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of women. Help women take charge of their health through education and healthy lifestyle tips, and to address the inequities that women face in access and quality of care services as a catalyst for more women being represented in research. Go Red for Women is standing up for women across the nation and across the globe to eradicate these issues and ensure all women have an equitable opportunity to live a long and healthy life. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of women. It claims more lives than all forms of cancer combined. But many instances of cardiovascular disease can be prevented through healthy lifestyle changes. Last year, we asked everyone to reclaim their rhythm by developing healthy habits that work for you and keep cardiovascular disease at bay. This year, we're asking everyone to keep the rhythm going and be the beat. Wherever you are, in an effort to reclaim your healthy rhythm, keep the beat going. Why? Because these small actions add up to big changes for your long-term well-being. Throughout tonight's program, you'll have the opportunity to give a gift to the American Heart Association simply by scanning the QR code on your screen. Or you can text Abilene Go Red to 41444 and click the link to donate. Why do you go red? I go red for my children, because as a mother, I want to be there for all the milestones my children may have when they're children all the way through adulthood. And I want to be there for the future generations, my grandchildren. Let's hear what one woman right here in the big country had to say about why she goes red.
Well, I think it's important for all of us to do what we can to keep ourselves in the best shape that we can keep in or stay in, just because most of us are taking care of a family, a husband, significant others, children, maybe your parents, and so, you know, we just have to kind of be at the hub of so much that goes on in our family, and so everyone depends on us, and of course we all depend on husbands as well, but I think a lot of times it's the women who take the lead on making sure everything is moving ahead. So it's really important that we do everything we can to be able to do the best job we can at that. Well, it's so important. I mean, our heart for women, you know, it's one of the #1 killers of women, and so we just need to be really aware of, you know, what we're doing and if anything, you know, if we're experiencing anything unusual, because you know, we do have a lot. There is a lot to be done, whether you're working or staying home with your family and taking care of all of them. There's always a lot of details, a lot of juggling to be done, and so we can do that the best we can if we are in the best health we can be in. You know, I have actually several friends who've had a heart attack, and it's always, you know, very surprising, and it's, you know, normally they think maybe they've eaten something wrong or it's just something very minor, but it's not, and you know, sometimes you are doing everything you can and it just nonetheless, you know, you're surprised by something that happens with your heart. But I think, you know, most people now know to eat well, eat right, exercise, you know, several times a week, and just do whatever you can to keep going.
Welcome back to the Abilene Go Red for Women Be the Beat special. Joining us in studio are two Hendrick Clinic cardiologists, Dr. Gibbs Wilson and Dr. Joseph Stafford. They are here to talk with us about heart health. So let's begin with Dr. Gibbs Wilson. Dr. Wilson, what are the symptoms of a heart attack?
Excellent question, Joni. So typical symptoms of a heart attack typically are chest pain. Now, chest pain and farmers, pain doesn't relate to them. So a lot of times chest pressure, chest discomfort, jaw pain, radiation down the arm, shortness of breath, nausea, vomiting, atypical kind of GI symptoms, all can be representations of a heart attack.
And Dr. Wilson, how do the symptoms of a heart attack differ between a man and a woman?
So symptoms of a heart attack between men and women do have some variability in them. I would say that most commonly women still have the presentation of chest discomfort, jaw pain, left arm pain, radiation, as well as kind of the nausea, vomiting. Now, women typically present later. They also typically will not have the classic symptoms of chest pain.
All right, thank you, Dr. Wilson. And for Dr. Stafford, can you tell us why cardiovascular health is so important?
Cardiovascular health is important for multiple reasons. First and foremost, our body, all of our vital organs depend on our heart to provide it with blood and oxygen. All of the nutrients that our body delivers to those organs goes through the heart. Also, cardiovascular health is linked to how we're feeling, both with stamina, breathing. So symptomatically, cardiovascular health is important.
And Dr. Stafford, can you tell us, are there any things that women can do to help prevent a heart attack?
There are a lot of things we can do to help prevent heart attack. At the foundation of it is addressing all of our risk factors, which would be controlling cholesterol, managing diabetes, having healthy diet and weight, and exercising plenty. All of these things are each pieces of the puzzle that help prevent heart attacks.
All right, a special thank you to both you doctors, Dr. Gibbs Wilson and Dr. Joseph Stafford, both cardiologists with Hendrick Clinic Cardiology. And meanwhile, we want you to take a moment to recognize our sponsor for tonight's program. A big thank you to Hendrick Health for your continued support of the American Heart Association and the Go Red for Women campaign in Abilene. It's now time for our Life's Essential 8 with tips on how to eat better, manage weight, be more active, and get healthy sleep.
Physical activity is incredibly helpful for heart health. The recommendation actually from the AHA is 150 minutes of moderate or 75 minutes of vigorous activity every single week. And for kids, it's actually 60 minutes a day.
Getting a good night's sleep is vital to cardiovascular health and, in fact, overall health. Lack of good sleep regularly has been linked not only to heart disease, but also to depression, dementia, obesity, and high blood pressure. So getting good sleep is vital. This is easier said than done sometimes, but it's recommended that adults get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep a night, and even more for children.
So managing heart expectations also include eating healthy and having an appropriate weight. Understanding that we still, in the cardiology world, preach the Mediterranean diet. The Mediterranean diet obviously includes more nuts, fruits, and vegetables, and yes, less red meat, my West Texas folks. But definitely important when it comes to heart health.
Women are also facing a new crisis that is impacting their cardiovascular health: poor mental well-being. There is no doubt about it, COVID-19 has created lingering problems in every area of life, and the mental well-being of women has been significantly impacted. Through the pandemic, nearly 80% of women said their load increased at home and at work, with many planning to quit their jobs due to poor work-life balance. Reducing our stress increases our happiness, which results in better heart health. Happy individuals tend to sleep better, exercise more, eat better, and don't smoke. A recent study found that people with higher levels of optimism had a 35% decreased risk of cardiovascular disease and a 14% decreased risk of all-cause mortality. Go Red for Women is helping women manage chronic stress and understand how it negatively impacts their minds, bodies, and hearts. Keep those donations coming. It's very easy to donate. Just scan the QR code on the screen or text Abilene Go Red to 41444. And while you're doing that, what would you do if you had more time? That's a question many women have asked themselves when diagnosed with cardiovascular disease.
What would I do if I had more time?
Wow.
If I had more time, I'd call my grandma back. I miss her.
I'd go straight to the studio and dance my little heart out.
I would take up the guitar again because I have always wanted to be a rock star.
I would love to spend more time laughing.
I'd empower women to move.
I would do more of what I want to do and less of what I have to do.
If I had more time, I'd give it all to her.
If I had more time.
If I had more time.
If I had more time.
In 2008, at the age of 37, I suffered a heart attack. and I never saw it coming.
At 10, I was diagnosed with dilated cardiomyopathy, and at 22, I had a heart transplant.
Thanks to research funded by the American Heart Association,
so many of us have been given more time.
More time with our families, more time with our dreams, and more time to accomplish the things that cardiovascular disease tried to take from us.
And we're not going anywhere.
From many survivors to one survivor right here in Abilene, Shelley Hawkes survived a heart attack just last year at the age of 60 and now shares her story of this traumatic event in her life and what she's doing now to ensure her heart health is better than ever. Noah McKinney has the story.
All of a sudden I'd turn and I felt this waviness in my head like I was about to pass out. But I ignored it because nothing else hurt. Time goes on and it just happens a little bit more frequently. The heaviness in my chest was so bad. I think I sat up for a good 30 minutes to an hour trying to compose myself. I asked my husband to please call the 911, not knowing what it was, but I knew it was something I couldn't control.
September 16th, 2022, Shelley Hawkes takes an ambulance ride she hadn't planned for. The EMT by her side, her only indication of just how serious the situation was.
He said, "You know you've had a heart attack, right?" And it surprised me. It's like all of a sudden you have to know that if you're passing away, are you going to be okay?
As she's wheeled into the ER, the thought crosses her mind, will I make it out?
And that's the last I remember until I woke up in the hospital with a ventilator.
Unable to speak, her then fiance Mario calls in her daughter, now faced with unthinkable decisions.
Hour by hour, they don't know if I'm going to live or not for a couple of days. And I hated that she had to have that burden even thought about.
Thankfully, that moment never arose, but the experience changed each one of them forever.
It's devastating to a family to deal with that when I could have prevented it.
A lesson she's not taking lightly the second time around.
I make sure I go to the doctor when I'm scheduled to.
Her husband reminding her how lucky they are just to have made it through.
He tells me all the time I need to appreciate that second chance.
Birthdays, weddings, graduations, and so much more she might have missed out on, now sitting happily on the horizon as she takes time to take care of herself.
If I'd just gone, I would not be in the position I was. I wouldn't have burdened everybody else. So a couple of days out of your life isn't that bad.
For BigCountryHomepage.com, I'm Noah McKinney.
Thank you, Shelley, for sharing your story. I think it's very important that everyone, especially women, listen to their bodies and their own health advocates. Imagine if Shelley hadn't. She might not be here today. And that's why we need your support. Tonight, we're asking that you open your hearts and be part of the campaign by donating what you can right now. So you'll see a QR code there on the screen. You can scan this code and you'll be directly linked to a page where you can quickly and very easily complete your gift. We're hoping that everyone on the call today joins us by making a life-saving donation to the American Heart Association. And you can participate at any level. I want to personally thank each and every one of you for making life-saving miracles like the one we heard today happen every day. Thank you for uniting with us today and for joining Go Red for Women's fight for a healthier future, free of heart disease and strokes. And with that said, let's hear more about life's essential 8 in what quitting tobacco, managing blood pressure and sugar, along with controlling cholesterol, can do for you and your heart health.
Controlling cholesterol is extremely important in controlling heart disease. High levels of LDL or bad cholesterol can lead to heart disease. Your healthcare professional can consider LDL cholesterol as the preferred number to monitor rather than the total cholesterol, because it can be measured without fasting beforehand and is reliably calculated among all people. Thank you.
Keeping your blood pressure within acceptable range is important for your cardiovascular health. Blood pressure less than 120/80 is an optimal blood pressure. High blood pressure is defined as a pressure greater than 130 on the top number, which is the systolic pressure, or The bottom pressure being greater than 80, which is the diastolic blood pressure.
Smoking is the leading preventable cause of death in the United States, and this goes for both smoking and vaping. It's estimated that about half of U.S. children under the age of 11 are exposed to secondhand smoke. This is a preventable cause of death, which means by changing behavior, you can change your outcomes. It's estimated that in the first year after quitting, your risk of a major cardiovascular event goes down by about 50%.
We all know maintaining adequate weight has a lot of health benefit. How do you know your weight is adequate? So we use a numeric calculation on a number called BMI. It calculated based on your height and weight. And you can find your BMI at many websites, or you can go to your healthcare provider to ask your specific BMI.
Most of the food we eat is turned into glucose, or commonly known as blood sugar, that our bodies use as energy. Over time, high levels of blood sugar in your bloodstream can affect your heart, kidneys, eyes, and nerves. As part of testing, monitoring your hemoglobin A1C can better reflect long-term control in people with diabetes or prediabetes.
February is American Heart Month, and this year we are asking everyone to be the beat. Regardless of age, cardiovascular disease, it can have a major impact on women's lives. One stage of life that we might not think of is heart health awareness following a pregnancy.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in new moms.
Cardiovascular disease can pose a threat to a woman's heart health during pregnancy and later in life.
If you're thinking about getting pregnant, talk to your doctor about your risk factors and how pregnancy can impact your health.
Losing one woman to heart disease is one too many.
We've heard a lot about what adjusting your diet and living habits can do for your heart health. But what about how your mental health and the impact it has on your heart health?
Sometimes stress feels like the only constant, and I know that stress may lead to heart disease and stroke. So today I decided to put my phone down and simply breathe. I'm focusing on what I can control, like turning little moments into me time to help my mind, heart, and body. I'm reclaiming my time. Deep breaths for just 1 minute, a walk with my dog, or calling a friend. This is my time and my health, and moment by moment, I'm owning it.
Maintaining your heart health and the heart health of your loved ones, it's important, as our friends from the American Heart Association remind us here.
I thought I've been fairly confident my whole life, and at that moment I felt so vulnerable. It struck me out of nowhere.
I didn't fully understand what happened to me. I didn't understand the severity of what happened to me. I was kind of dumbfounded. I didn't realize that having a stroke can happen to anyone.
I can't have heart disease. I'm only 48 years old. I have 3 kids and a grandson. I have a whole life ahead of me. There's still so much more I need to do.
If you think of an active lifestyle, you don't think you have to worry about heart disease. It's very common in women ages 30 to 50. Go get your heart checked.
If you are not taking it into account, you could really not know what's happening, and it's going to be your life and not in a good way.
It's up to us to call someone and say, hey, I'm going to get my blood pressure checked. Hey, I have a doctor's appointment. When the last time have you been? That's what I believe that a village does need, especially in our African American community.
I'm not just a survivor, I'm a warrior. Sometimes I have to remind myself that
every woman wants to take care of everyone around her. She wants to nurture everyone around her. She wants to be the biggest supporter of everyone. You exhaust yourself, you give all of yourself, and you don't realize in order to continue to be that person and to help everyone you want to help, you have to be the best person you can be yourself.
Family is important, having a good support system for friends, and also it's so important to know your numbers. Eat a healthy diet. You're your biggest advocate.
Raise your voice, because that raises reality. You need strength to get through the journey, but it's the journey that will make you strong.
Go to the doctor, get your checkups, ask questions.
It's a blessed day, and whatever you're not capable of doing, that's okay, because maybe tomorrow you might be able to do it.
If you have a good outlook on life, hang on to that. Hang on to hope.
That's what I enjoy most about this whole journey, is being actively involved.
If my journey can help just
one woman,
then mission accomplished.
It's okay to go through what you're going to go through. You just have to remember that even when you get burned down to ashes, you're going to rise like a phoenix.
According to the American Heart Association, more than 350,000 people go into cardiac arrest outside of a hospital. Fewer than 10% survive, mainly because so few people receive CPR and have access to an automated external defibrillator, or AED. As for those who do receive immediate CPR, they're twice or even 3 times as likely to survive. The following women describe how CPR saved their lives.
On December 6, 2014, we were vacationing in New York City. We decided to go to a restaurant that night, and within about 5 minutes of getting into the restaurant, my parents said they looked over and they thought I was having a seizure. They detected I had no pulse for about 2 minutes. All I remember is hearing, "Brittany, Brittany, we love you, we love you."
Around November 2020, I went to a dance event. I was dancing with a really good friend of mine, and we came out of a move, and then all of a sudden I just felt really dizzy. I kind of went to bend down just to kind of catch myself and brace myself. And next thing you know, I woke up and there was an ambulance, kind of rushing me off to the hospital.
Paramedics came in, they immediately started CPR, and they brought my pulse back immediately. I just was in disbelief because I was 24.
There were 3 nurses that were there. They checked for a pulse and see that I wasn't breathing. Someone found an AED, and they were able to use the AED to shock me back to life. I think it took a couple of times. I just felt extremely grateful when I found out what had happened.
Luckily, CPR saved my life. I had to make it my mission to spread the awareness of heart disease and how important CPR really is.
American Heart Association is one of the leaders in CPR training. And if it wasn't for CPR, I actually wouldn't be alive today. In fact, it's had such an impact on one of the nurses who saved my life. She went and got certified through the American Heart Association.
Earlier in the show and on Wednesday night on KTAB News at 10, we introduced you to an Abilene woman, Shelly Hawkes, who last year at the age of 60 survived a heart attack that gave her a wake-up call of a lifetime. She joins us tonight with KTAB's Manny Diaz to talk about the reaction and some exciting news.
Well, thank you, Joni. Joining us now is Miss Shelly Hawkes. She is a survivor, a local survivor here in Abilene. Just last year survived just a heart attack that, as you said, Joni, pretty much just transformed her life. Shelly, I know we've had an opportunity to kind of just chit chat over the time that we've kind of been putting this special together. Have you had a chance to take a look at the video?
Yes, I did. All my friends were sending it to me yesterday. They were telling me I look good and all that, which is I told you I wanted to look young. So that's all it
We got you looking magnificent from that. It didn't take much. Well, nonetheless, you talked about how it was kind of overcoming this traumatic event, if you will. But one thing I think that we really didn't get to touch on, and you shared a lot, was with a particular story that something that a moment that you shared with an EMT there in the ambulance. Tell me about that, because that appeared to be probably, a very it was something that meant a lot to you.
It did, and I wish I knew who he was, and someday I'll try to locate him and tell him thank you. My husband saved my life too, but this gentleman that was in the back with me, I didn't really understand what was happening. I thought it was anxiety, but then I thought, well, maybe it's a heart attack, but I wasn't sure, so I was still okay. And he asked me which hospital I wanted to go to, and I just out of a reaction, I just said Hendrick North, but we weren't quite up the street, and he said again, "Are you sure you want to go to Hendrick North?" And I thought, there is something he knows. He's seen this a lot, and I'm gonna clue in on that, and I'm gonna say, just take me to the nearest one. And thank God I did. I really believe he saved my life, because if I had made that first choice, I don't know that I would have made it.
Well, speaking of wonderful people, Michelle, you have pretty much formed a support group there in rehab and kind of getting back on track. Tell me about that and what that's meant to you.
Yes. Yesterday, one of the ladies was graduating from the cardiac rehab class, and there were two others and I that we just felt real close to one another while we were in rehab, and we exchanged numbers, and we've got a little group text, and we plan on trying to meet once a month just to check on each other. And because we care, you bond with these people that are in your class, and it was really nice. I will say I came out of there really happy because I gained 3 new friends, but also I have friends with all the people that work up there. They're awesome. I can't say enough for them.
You're also graduating on Friday as well.
Yes, I'm graduating on Friday. I'm real happy, but now I'm going to be responsible for myself. Exercising.
Well, Michelle, congratulations. Thank you for joining us. You are Abilene's heart health hero. I'll say it for you.
Thank you very much.
Yes. For Michelle Hawkes, I'm Manny Diaz. Joni, back to you.
It's going to take all of us in this relentless fight. After all, there is nothing more unstoppable than men and women united for a common purpose. I hope after our event today, the American Heart Association can count on you to be an ambassador for all of the women in your life. I'm Joni McKinnon, so thank you to all of you for joining us today and for being a relentless force for women. Don't forget, you still have an opportunity to make a donation by scanning the QR code there on your screen or texting Abilene Go Red to 41444. Thank you again for joining us for this year's Abilene Go Red for Women.